Hi guys, today it's just me. We're going to be looking at like the top 5 Arcane Odyssey abilities. I've been playing Arcane Odyssey since it was in beta. It just recently came out fully in a few months ago. So I thought we would look at the top 5 powers and why they are better. So if you've never played this game before, it's basically it's kind of its name. If you've ever played like any of the Assassin's Creed games, that Odyssey game, it has like an order that you find out. You follow the story of your character that you fully customize. There are other people in the game, so it's not a single player server. You can play with friends. There's parties. Me and Gunnar are probably going to put a series out about it here soon. Lance will unfortunately not be a part of that series due to he plays on console. It's not a very console-friendly game. It's not easy. I've tried it. So, but these are all the powers, and they all have like, you can like color variants, which is that's just your own personal aesthetic, really. And they're like size, speed, damage, and destruction, and then you all have a status effect. Now, what you like kind of depends on your fighting style. See, in this, I need speed, so I usually use light. It's a very fast power, as you can see the bars all the way up. But it's also very like size, but its destruction isn't great. So if you plan to just drop them into the water and you want destruction, you're probably going to want something more like explosive. Sorry, I was making sure that was right. The destruction's all the way up, and its size is all the way up, but its speed is very slow, and its damage is still good. A lot of the damage is good. So the first one we're going to look at is Explosion. It has all the way on size and damage, so its damage is like has a multiplier of 1.2, and its size is a multiplier of 1.3. Its status effect is Charred, which acts as a catalyst to buff the damage of other magics. So this is gonna, if you want destruction, so if you're gonna want to just like break the place apart, oh, sorry, I forgot the name picking. If you just want to like break a place apart, you're gonna want destruction. If you want something big that's gonna hurt a lot of the people you're trying to kill. Okay. So it's giving me the tutorial right now because every time you can't, once you've started, you cannot pick a new power. So I'm hoping this video, guys, will help you learn what powers you want. So ignore this tutorial that it's trying to give me. This is the explosion like magic. When you shift and you do this like energy thing, this is kind of what you look like in case you care. Like it has basically the same other ability when you look at like stats and magic. I would love if I could click it. So like create, you'll have an explosion, a leap, a beam, a snare, and an aura, and then you have your blast, which is what you spawn in with. Now, the damage, it tells you kind of the specific attack that it's going to give. So it's not the full effect of the power, but it is kind of a taste what you're going to get, and it's going to be the one that you use for a lot of the story because it does take a lot of stat points to get to magic. And naturally you're going to want to upgrade other things, unless you are a magic focused player. So that's what the blast looks like, and it does. If I went to Red Lake, which has a wooden like dock, it would probably destroy the dock. But I don't have that. I'm also not doing my blast, so click Q. That's what your blast looks like. I just destroyed that bush. I destroyed the ground. It's like just very destructive power, and very like large. So you're gonna be able to char, which is what its status effect is, a lot of people. So if you really like using your status effects and you like kind of not aiming for one person, you're just kind of like aiming for that area, this is probably one of the powers that is meant for you. But it is slower, so if you want to aim fast, this is not what you're going to be looking for, and we're going to go over ones that hit every base. But this is large and damaging. It does do a lot of damage, but it is very destructive. Sorry, that is what I meant. So I'll be back with the next power. We're going to be working on light. The normal variant is sunlight. Sorry, I was checking to make sure explosive I didn't miss that. So color variants, just gonna change what it looks like. So you can basically have like a yellow one, or you can have a purple one. So maybe you want your powers to kind of match your aesthetic, but another power really fits your fighting style. You can change the colors, like I said earlier, so like even ice has them, right? And like I said, there's so many powers, so many different variants. If you always check to make sure there is one, because even wind has one. So this one's a very speed-based power. So like I said, it has a decent size, but its speed is its most prominent. It does really good damage, but its destruction isn't great. So if you're not planning to destroy things, this is probably the power for you. It blinds who you're fighting. So it ruins their vision for 1.5 seconds, and it can be stacked, which can be really helpful in boss fights, because sometimes you're not always looking for it'd be really helpful in boss fights, blinded, because sometimes they will just stack attacks on you and you will not have an opening in some boss fights. So it can be very helpful there, or when you have 5-10 people going after you, because that will happen in this game, because it is a very story-based game and heavily adventurous, so there's people everywhere all out to get you. Of course you have your allies. Alright, we are back in, again, the tutorial. That's going to happen every time, so but here's the light magic, like here's your shift. And then when you just do the attack, which is just your right click, it's this. Very fast, like I said, and very, very bright. Which is why it blinds. And then here's your light blast. And over time you can sort of like change how many blasts you have. I have like 5, because I do use this power regularly. And like Explosion has very similar abilities that you can unlock. The blast, the explosion, the leap, the gleam, the beam, the snare, and the aura. Which are all very quick, they do blind, they do what their job is. I find that this is one of the better powers for players who are kind of bad at aiming, because it is very like quick, so your enemy does not have a lot of time to move or dodge, which some bosses are very good at. You can hit very quickly and very easy. It just does not do much destruction, but damage-wise and speed-wise, probably one of your better powers. So if speed is your thing, or you aren't good at aiming, so you need something that's going to be quick, this is probably one of your power that's for you. I think it's the fastest power that I've ever used and ever seen used. So I don't know if that helps you at all. We're going to look at metal next for damage. Okay, this is metal. It has one of the higher damage. As you can see, it is fully all the way. It's a slower power and has good destruction and size. So if you want destruction, you want size, but not as much as explosive, and you want better damage than explosion, this is really, really good for you. And there's many variants, so if you really like pink, you can have rose gold. You can have gold for if you like yellow, steel if you want something darker, and iron if you just want that classic metal look. Its status effect is bleeding, which deals medium damage over time for like 5 seconds. So that can really, really help in big fights where there's multiple people, there's bosses, because even if you're not hitting them, it is still doing damage for that 5 seconds. Alright, so we are back. This is the like metal in your inventory. It's the only effects. Here is your like power charge thing, basically areas. You get little like stars and fine metal chunks. And here's like your fast right click attack, which is very like small thing. I don't know if it breaks anything or not. And like here's your blast. It's a giant rock. And it does do quite a bit of destruction, as you can see. And it has probably it's the highest damage rate. So that's really, really helpful if you don't care much about your speed, but you really want to do damage. That's good. This is probably going to be your power. It has the highest damage in the entire game. Plus it's destructive if you're looking for that. And it has a big attack, which means big attack range. This is going to be your way of faster killing bosses, faster killing big groups of people, because it's larger and it does more damage. Only problem not having things like the light and the faster powers do is it's going to be harder to hit your mark. Because by the time that your ability hits them, they're probably moved. So you have to be really good with aim and really good at predicting your opponent, which can be really hard. Now it gets really like hard with the slower powers in boss battles, because bosses dodge like no other enemy. Not even players probably dodge as good as bosses, and they can block, which makes them 1,000 times harder when using these slower, much slower powers. Okay, we're gonna look at Plasma next. It has a really even, so if you kind of want a bit of everything, you kind of want your hand in every pot, Plasma's probably really good for you. It has decent speed, decent size, decent damage, and decent destruction. Meaning, it's gonna be pretty even everywhere. So, you can do your destruction and still have your better speed and damage. Or you can have really big things, but not be slow. So this, and has Scorched, which deals high damage over time for 3 seconds, so that even does even more damage. So it's pretty even on all your things, has a really good status effect, meaning it's probably one of your better powers. If you're kind of good at everything, maybe you need speed, but you can't have low damage because you die really easy. Or you need high damage, but you can't be slow. And you want destruction, but you can't aim, so you need a little bit more speed. This is where that plasma magic is going to be really helpful. It's also good if you're a newer player. There are many abilities like this, like lightning, which like slows targets temporarily, and there's so many, so just like look at them. But plasma is probably the best because of its status effect. Plasma and lightning are going to be your best two if you're looking for stuff that is even. Sorry, I had to check all the powers to make sure that I wasn't getting that wrong. But plasma is just a little bit better because of its status effect, because it does hurt more over time, so it does more damage. But maybe damage is what you need. Maybe you just need them to slow down. At that point, look at lightning. But I'm going to focus on plasma. I have used plasma, and I forgot to say this for metal, but it has the exact same, like, the explosion, the leap, the blast, the beam, the aura, and the snare. They all have that. All of them are going to have that. So, if you're worried about that, don't be, because all the abilities have that. It's just like how they look and what they do. Because what the ice beam looks like is very different from the light beam or the plasma beam, or even the lightning beam. So if the looks matter to you, then you might want to look up like what they look like. But I didn't focus on looks in this video. I focused on how you could fight. Alright. Hi, we are in. Okay. So we have plasma. It is on the Nova, or not the Nova is red. It is on the Gamma look, which is its default. So it's like power shifting in the purple looks like this. It'll look kind of very similar, just imagine the purple things are red. Here's your right click attack. Speed, damaging. It does make that sound, so if you don't like that, probably don't use this power, because you will have to hear it the entire time when you use it. We'll even aim at the ground to see the destruction. See, it burns it. It shows its like scorched ability. So, like I said, if you really kind of want your hand in every pot, you don't really care. This is your ability. And that or lightning. Lightning's going to slow your opponents. This is going to burn them. So it's really up to you. Do you want to do damage over time, or do you just want them slower and you can just stack more attacks on them? That is 100% up to you, your playing style. And you may learn that you don't love one of these powers when you're using them. And at that point, and later in the game, you can actually unlock a second power. So if you think that you need speed and you try light and you say, I really don't, I need damage, you can get metal as your second power. It takes a little bit to get there, and you kind of have to suffer through abilities that you don't like. But you're going to pick any second power, does not have to correlate with your first one in any way, shape, or form. So it's important that you watch all of it and see all their downfalls and important that you see all their pros and cons. Alright, we're going to look at Poison now for its status effect. As you can see, it has high size, decent speed, decent damage, and not great on its destruction. This is going to be if you really rely on that status effect, if you rely on that overtime damage. It does poison, which deals medium damage over time for 20 seconds, so that's really going to hurt your opponent, because that's 20 seconds medium damage that it can't stop. It can't block it, it can't dodge it. It's just going to be getting hurt. Now another one like this, if you maybe don't love how this one looks, is Acid. Has a higher damage on its own, and pretty similar everything else to Poison. But it has Corroding, which deals medium damage for only 10 seconds. So that is a sacrifice, but I'm going to look at Poison just because its status effect is better. In this, if you're looking for damage. Again, it really depends on what you're looking for. These are just the 5 top, in my opinion, for what you're looking for. Some of them is just the plain stats, like Metal has the highest damage, but as for status effects, that is my opinion, which is why I'm showing you ones that have similar status effects or stats. Alright, we are in with the Poison, so here's what looks like the inventory, is all the stats, just like the other ones. Here's your shift power charge, in case you're curious. Might not look like what you kind of expect to. It looks very similar to the Plasma one. Here's your basic right click attack. Again, this one starts off its status effect. You won't be able to see the status effect in action, but here you will be able to see everything else. Here's the Blast. It's kind of hard to follow, but here you can actually see the status effect lingering on the tree. Let's do that again. So you can. That purple aura is the status effect lingering. Now, since it's not on a person, it's not going to stay there for the whole 20 seconds. On a person, it will. I have used this ability before. Very good for status effect. Personally, not one of my favorites, but I need speed when I attack, so wasn't one of my favorites. It is a faster ability, but its status effect is kind of the main focus. I hope this helps you guys maybe pick your power or find what you want in a power by just seeing them. I know you didn't see them in action, and for that I apologize. Comment down below any other games you want a rundown on or anything, because I will do the research that you don't want to do, or me and Lance or Gunnar will. This video was just me because I'm really good at Arcane Odyssey and I've played it since it came out, so I thought that this could help some of you guys. We're gonna start getting Fortnite and Minecraft content out here soon, hopefully. And you'll probably see a lot of me and Gunnar, not a lot of Lance and me, or not a lot of us three together. You'll see little groups. That is really due to Lance being really busy. He does a lot of extracurricular activities, so it's kind of hard to find time to film. Also, we won't be probably posting much for a week or so, because Gunnar is going on a trip for his brother's birthday and Valentine's Day. I am staying home, so you'll probably see a lot of solo videos of me doing things like this, so I really hope to hear from you guys what you want to see. And Lance is just busy, So especially this next week. So it'll probably be either a lot of me or not a lot of videos. And for that, I am so sorry. We will really work on getting more out. We're probably going to spend the day here soon and just film, so we can just kind of get them out in slowly. So, but I really hope this can help you pick your power. I hope this brings attention to the game. It's a really, really fun game. It is fully out now, so you don't have to worry about any more like surprises because it's no longer in beta. So, anyway, bye bye guys.